All right. Welcome, everybody. Well, we got 3 minutes, so I'll give it the 3 minutes.
Excellent. Some nice music you're playing.
Yeah, I got to do original music, otherwise they won't. The music record labels will shut us down. But anyway, so I'm gonna go live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everyone. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Absolutely.
Yeah, and you don't see that person there, but in the background there is my guest tonight, Stella Schwuchow. Schwuchow, did I say that correctly? I'm going to bring you in.
Yeah. Hey, Freddie. Yes.
How you doing, Stella?
Schwuchow. I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, awesome. I'm doing great. I'm actually excited. This is my first show, Basement Politics. Basement Politics with Freddie Vasquez, and you're my first guest. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Me too. Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
You're very welcome. And I appreciate you coming on. When I invited you, I was a little nervous. I'm nervous inviting people. I'm not sure if they're going to say, yeah, they're going to bruise my ego. I have an ego.
Of course.
I do. I'm sure everyone knows. They see it. So, but I am happy because for the most part, everyone said, yeah. So they're going to be coming on, and you said yes. So I was very excited about that, to have you first. So once again, I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics, my first show. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Hopefully, if you're not out having dinner, which many of you probably are, you're watching us. All right. And you're here with us. So you can get informed on who are the candidates here in Yonkers that are going to be that are running for various political seats. And it's very important for everyone to get to know the candidates and be informed and make informed votes. I think that's important. So I want to bring various candidates. June 22nd, is it? Primaries?
Yeah, Democratic primaries.
Yep, right? So I wanted to get people on the show, people that are running in campaigns, talk a little bit with them, get to know them, let the residents of the city get to know them. And when they go to the polls, they know who they want to vote for based on the information that they have gotten. So, Stella, thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you.
I do want to start out by having you tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from exactly, Stella? Are you from Yonkers? Are you a lifelong resident?
Lifelong resident. Yep. Born and raised here. Before we get started, I just want to say that, what you've put together here is absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
And you said it perfectly, really giving a platform to candidates, not only a platform, but an unbiased platform.
Right. Totally.
Where we can speak, to inform the community, to make a choice really for the Democratic primary is extremely important.
Absolutely.
And we don't have enough of that. So again, thank you for putting this together, and
you're welcome.
Everything that you're doing, because it's amazing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But I'm nobody, right? You're the somebody here. So I want to get to know you. I want everyone in Yonkers to get to know you, and those that are going to be voting, hopefully it's everyone, to get to know you. So let us know about you.
Excellent. Well, my name is Stella Schwuchow. 29 years old. I actually just turned 29 last week, and I'm like,
happy birthday. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm 29 already. And everybody's like, you better knock it off because you're still young.
Yeah, you don't want to know how old I am.
But yeah, born and raised in the city of Yonkers. Awesome. I've been here for 29 years, of course. My family has been here for a really long time as well.
Yes.
They settled in Yonkers in the late 1800s. So wow, yeah, 100 years in the making here. My dad, my dad's German and Polish. He's
right. So that just to not to cut you off, but
no, that's fine. Let's go.
I wasn't sure who what your ethnicity was. Was she Spanish? And it's kind of like my wife. My wife is kind of an unknown. She's fair skinned. She has green eyes. What is she?
Right.
So I didn't know, and because of my wife, I don't just assume. But you're having an interesting mix. So just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So my dad, he's a first generation German, Polish American. His family has actually been here for over 100 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's incredible. And my mom, she's from Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, wow.
She came here when she was 18. So it's about 40 years now. And my mom and my dad, they lived right off of Lockwood Avenue. My mom was from, when she came here, she settled in Southwest Yonkers, but they met through mutual friends, and, they got married, and bam, 29 years later, here I am.
Was it love at first sight? Did they ever talk about how they met?
Yeah, so they did. My mom is, she's an islander, right? We all know that women from the islands are very strong. They have,
absolutely
have an attitude, but yeah, she, at first she was like, whatever, we'll go on a date eventually. And then she gave in, and my dad, he told me that he just knew she was the one,
Yeah. And I can relate. So yeah. I believe in that. I believe in love at first sight, right? I like to say that was the case with my wife and I. We've been together 23 years now. Yeah. I mean, and it's Mother's Day. So, I told her I was doing the show and I still love her. So I took out early, but it's love at first sight. And, I think it's great. I'm Puerto Rican. My wife is Black, and your dad is Irish, and your mother is from Tobago. I'm sorry, German. I'm sorry, German. And your mom being from the islands, and I saw a picture of them. Now, it's great. It's beautiful, especially what's going on today. With all the racial tension and everything. It's beautiful to see people of different ethnicities, races, all coming together and just being human. Right?
Exactly right.
That's what we are.
They just made 31 years on Cinco de Mayo.
Wow. Oh, on Cinco de Mayo, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, did they go out?
So, they're very casual people. So they just kind of hung out here. They like to just
that's cool.
Yeah, hang out.
I like to just hang out. That's fun. But anyway, are they happy and proud? I'm sure they're proud. I'm sure they're very proud about their daughter running for City Council, District 6. Now, what made you throw the hat into the ring?
I was actually encouraged by a lot of people to really get involved. I've worked on many campaigns in the past. I worked on the London Reyes campaign for 4 years. I was his campaign manager. I also volunteered to help Senator Shelley Mayer on her first run years back as well. And I've been organizing, in the community as well. I helped put together the SOS rallies for Save Our Students. I'm also a board of director for the AAA All-Stars, which is a non-for-profit out of Southwest Yonkers, just really focuses on helping kids and, getting kids off the streets. So I've always been really community involved, and after I guess the last 2 elections, I really work well behind the scenes. I've always been behind the scenes, making things happen, organizing everything, never really been the face front of anything. And I worked well like that for a while, but it got to a point where this seat was up for my district in 6th. And, I've been living here my entire life in the 6th. And, I just thought that, at this moment in my life, and also for what's going on in the city right now, it's important to get, younger people involved, people that have new ideas and
absolutely.
And yeah, so that's really what started, with what started it. Yeah.
It's a three-way race, right? We have the incumbent, Anthony Marenti, correct?
Yep.
He is the chairman of the Budget and Finance Committee. So he plays a big role there in the city council. So you're aiming for a big target, someone that plays I should say, an important role, I would think, in terms of budgeting and financing. So what is it that how do you think you would do a better job at this position?
Well, I guess I'll just start by saying that, I'm 29. My dad actually, just taking it back for a second, my dad was a Republican ward leader back in the 70s. So he actually ran for office in Yonkers as a Republican. Yeah. And, he switched over to a Democrat in the 90s. So he's been a Democrat for, 30 years now. And my mom, she's been a lifelong Democrat. She's progressive. So that kind of influence in my life, having my dad as a Republican with strong values and my mom as a Democrat, that allowed me to have and develop some really strong beliefs, just like principles and, views and just different things that I know that are needed for Yonkers. And I'm great that I had the best of both, because it just allowed me to be, to develop stronger ideas. But as far as Anthony Morante, I actually I have nothing bad to say about him. I remember there was a couple things that were going wrong in our community, and he, we gave him a call and he came right over, and, he's a really nice man. It's just, the way Yonkers is going right now, and having just, politicians in office for years and years and years, sometimes people get comfortable,
Right.
and
absolutely.
And also, sometimes it's better to have a change in structure as well, and somebody from the younger generation who's really, connected with the world and what's going on right now. I'm at a different stage in my life. I'm 29. I'm on the opposite side. I'm not retired. I have the energy. I have the time. So that's really why I think, just I guess starting, just why I would be better fit for this position as well. And also, I walk these streets every day. I've been here. I know my neighborhood. I know what we need because I live here. Right. The same problems that people face in District 6, the same struggles, the same working class families that go through, their daily problems. I go through it too. My family has went through it too. So I understand what needs to be done because I live here.
Right. And actually, our business, well, I like to say my wife's business is in your district, right? So we have Little Prodigies, and I'm going to plug Little Prodigies Remote Learning Center in your district, right on Lockwood. And, I love the area, right? I grew up in Southwest Yonkers. I'm from Buena Vista Avenue, right? We grew up over there. So back then, coming to Lockwood was pretty much like going to another world. We had no business going over there, right? So we really didn't go over there. But now I'm there. I have my business there. So look at me, But I do, see there's some things that just me as a business owner in the area, and I could only imagine the people who own businesses in Getty Square. I get the high school kids, right? And I'm cool. I like the kids. Hey, high school kids. But sometimes they come and they want to smoke weed in front of my establishment. It's, right. It's a business and I got kids there. You can't be smoking weed there. I know it's legal now. Mayor Cuomo made it okay, but hey, take it around the corner. And also trash. I noticed that there's a lot of trash up and down Lockwood, as well as the speeding cars. And there were actually 2 accidents since we've been there, not even a year, in a short amount of time. One accident was so bad and it was directly in front of the business there. And I got so scared that something was with my family that I ran up. But it's pretty bad, with the cars. Besides that, that's what I see, right? Being in that area. What is it that you see needs changing? I know, Mr. Anthony Morante has been the District 6 council person for, quite, at least for the last term, or maybe for that. What is it that you're going to bring? What is it that what needs have not been met in your district that need to be met?
So specifically, there's always been a budget struggle in the city of Yonkers for as long as I can remember. I remember things were well when I was in high school. We had sports. Everything was beautiful. Like money was okay. But ever since I graduated high school in 2010, every year, schools are struggling more and more. There's not enough money. The city's in debt, and we have to go and borrow money. Which, Yonkers is the largest city in Westchester. We should have that funding, for our students. Right. So, I mean, that has definitely been an issue. And, Lockwood Avenue, like you had mentioned, is one of the main roads, I think, in District 6. And not only that, but there's a lot of schools around here. There's,
Yes, we have School 5.
There's School 5 right up the street from you guys. We have Padilla School 24, which is right down the block. And these are elementary schools, So It's important that on main roads as well, we don't have kids hanging out and, smoking weed, like you said, in front of your business. It's important that people aren't speeding up and down Lockwood Avenue because it's a school district. There's a lot of kids that are coming in and out of school. There's also, just going back to the city's budget, so not only has there been an issue with the budget for many, many years, because my parents, they actually just bought their first home about 3 years ago now. And their taxes keep on going up. It seems like year after year, their property taxes are going up. So what I want to do is really find solutions for our homeowners by finding solutions in the city's budget to lower property taxes.
Yes,
I think that's super important. There's different quality of life issues as well. Like you had mentioned, the speeding, the trash that's everywhere. Also traffic. I put out a press release a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and I saw that. I saw that press release, and the reason why it stuck out with me is because that's something actually that I consider myself, right? I think about that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I see all the developments going up, and it's great, I guess. I'm not making any money, so I don't care. But I see all the developments going up, and it's just making the city a lot more crowded. You have that downtown area that's just, I grew up on Buena Vista, so I saw it when it was just homeless people in the pier. They were, crab fishing, cooking the crabs, and that was all that was going on there. Now you have all this, traffic, all the crowds. But what they have not done is widen the roads, created new ways out of that downtown area. It's really like almost one way in, one way out type of situation, unless you go down Warburton. You can go up Ashburton. You can go further down if you want to go all the way to Odell. But it's gotten crazy. And I do business in the area. I'm constantly in and out, going to, different things, meetings, banks. And I noticed how much it's taken me now to just get into the downtown area. And I'm wondering what is going to happen, what's going to be done. Because there's still just more developments going up, right? So we're just going to have more people. So what's being done? Or is there something going to be done?
Yeah. So, I've been advocating for this, and also when I'm in office, definitely going to bring it up. I'm going to lobby with the county as well, because there's certain expanding roads on parkways or within the city. It's much more work than just saying you're going to fight for it, because there are a lot of other entities that are involved, including the county,
it's a lot,
maybe in the state. But again, I'm willing to do that. But I support smart development 100%. I think it's great that more people are coming into the city, that want to come into the city. I think it's great that people want to build and invest in the city as well. It's just, we can't expand one side and not take care of the other, which is why, the traffic is an issue. And then specifically for my district, Tuckahoe Road is a mess.
Yes.
So if you're going
Sawmill River Road is a mess.
Yeah. Sawmill's been a mess since I don't know, for decades. But that's an issue. Also by Central Park Ave, right off of Palmer Road. If you're trying to merge onto the Sprain, there's a single file line that goes all the way back to Cross County.
Yeah, I deal with that all the time on the way home. Yeah, I go on Palmer Road. I live off Central, so I deal with it all the time.
Yeah, and it's inconvenient. It's annoying, of course, for our commuters. But, that's what we're here for. Like, we need to find solutions for that. And it takes time, but, expanding the roadways, absolutely, especially.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
I don't see it getting any better as the developments continue to go up. I just don't understand how they're going to, and maybe they have a plan, right? I don't know. I'm not involved in these meetings. Maybe they have some plan that they're going to begin working out, but something needs to be done. I would be personally scared to live in that area and have to just escape for some reason. I love the fact where I live, where I can go on to, I'm not going to say which highway because I don't want to know where I live, but I can easily go on to a highway and I'm out of here.
Right.
But I would imagine if you live in the downtown area and you had to just, I don't know, I think of these extreme things, right? Like, I don't know, a comet or something is going to, and you have to get out. It's going to be tough. Just even if you want to go to Sawmill. Right. You live in that area and you're not going to hop on a train. You're going to actually take a car and get on the Sawmill. You have to plan a half hour nowadays or maybe an hour, ahead now.
That's exactly right. And then not only is it a traffic issue, of course, and like an issue of congestion, but it's also a safety issue too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are, will speed down the open lanes and try to cut in. When I was canvassing on Palmer Road, one of the main issues that people were talking to me about was the speeding and the drag racing off of Palmer Road. So
I hear it.
It's an issue that needs to be addressed, because what it does is it adds on and develops even more bigger issues as well.
Absolutely. Well, that's definitely something that is going to be needing to be addressed by someone. All of you guys, all politicians, whoever is elected or whoever is in there needs to address this. Another issue that, and they may be addressing this, but I know it's going to be something that needs to be addressed if they're not addressing it, is the number of students enrolling into the Yonkers public schools. Mm-hmm. Now, with the increase in residents or people moving in from all over, because I see the Facebook pages, you got people from Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, moving up here, asking about the schools in Yonkers, which areas in Yonkers are the best, which area should we move to, so I see that there's going to be a lot of people here. Yeah. Do you know what's being done, or are they addressing it? What are they going to do? What would your plans be to address this influx of new students into the Yonkers public schools? Because education is very important. That's, I think, with voters, especially parents, that's huge.
Absolutely. So I actually was a teacher for about 3 years. I went to Manhattanville College. I studied English and education there, and I did my master's degree in education as well. So nice. Right out of college, I went into teaching. And then after 3 years, I decided to go into public service, which is, why I started organizing. So education and, Yonkers public schools are important to me.
Absolutely.
100%. Not only that, but I went to all Yonkers public schools. I went to PS 24. I went to Yonkers Middle and Yonkers High School. I know a lot of teachers that are here in the city. A lot of teachers that taught me when I was a kid, I've stayed in touch with, so I'm close with them. So they always talk to me about the issues that are going on right now, but it's something that definitely has to be addressed, because not only are schools are underfunded, it's overcrowded as well. There's always talk about layoffs. We don't need layoffs. We need more teachers involved, but we can't if we can't afford them.
Right. Absolutely.
Also, this was a big issue a few months ago, because a lot of the special education programs were neglected, and the city was actually being sued. There was a lawsuit against the city to fix the issues, because, with COVID and a lot of students not being in school, physically, right. A lot of IEPs and just a lot of things were swept under the books, so to speak.
Yeah.
Things were just difficult,
I think because we opened up. My wife is an educator. She's in I was going to say the education business, but I don't know. Is it a business? And she's in the education field, right? She's a school social worker. She's a college professor. She's a lot of things. And we opened up the remote learning center because we saw that there was this need, and we know firsthand that kids have really suffered this past year in terms of education. The remote learning was just not enough. It just wasn't giving them the same quality, if it was good quality to begin with, right? I have my opinion on that. So imagine it went, the quality was even lower, especially with special ed, special needs schools or students and their IEPs and the services that they would normally receive if we did not have the pandemic, right? Those services were cut drastically. Right. I mean, they had to see people, they couldn't see them, right? The COVID, no one's able to visit each other, lockdowns, you had the whole health issues. So yeah, I know that they suffered tremendously, and it's going to take a while. In fact, I actually saw an article today from the New York Times that was actually speaking on this very topic, and how it's going to affect this generation and the kids for a lifetime. For the rest of their life, they will be affected.
Yeah.
What would you do? What do you have anything specific that you would like to implement if you're elected, right? If the people of Yonkers, the residents of the city of Yonkers, voted for Stella, what would you do, and what would be like your number one priority in terms of the education here in Yonkers?
So I'm just going to say funding 100%, because nothing can happen, nothing can change immediately without the proper funding. So what I plan to do is I plan to fight for educational funding that's going to really help mismanaged and overcrowded public schools.
Right.
And then of course neglected special education programs as well. So it's sad to say that, everything revolves around money, but especially for our schools, we have a lot of public schools in the city of Yonkers. So, we need more funding
Absolutely.
from the state and from the county as well.
Absolutely. I agree. I was very fortunate. I have an interesting story, which I won't get into. My wife says I talk a lot, so it's not about me though. but I do want to say that I was fortunate to. I'm born and raised in Yonkers. I grew up on Buena Vista. I went to school 16. Actually, I went to St. Peter's kindergarten, pre-K, first grade, and then sadly they couldn't afford it anymore, I guess. And so I went to Yonkers Public School, third grade. And I went to school 16, where I graduated. Then I went to museum school, right? I was in the gifted and talented program. Go me, right? You take a test to get in. I think all the parents want their kids in this program, right? The Hawthorne, the school on Hawthorne over there, the elementary, you have to take a test. All the parents are there rushing their kids. They want this program. I went there. I did that. I was fortunate to get in. And then ninth grade year, I moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And wow, what a shock. Like I say this all the time, I went to another planet, right? But what was the huge difference that stood with me is the educational system there. I mean, Jesus, excuse me, God, it was just amazing. I mean, it was amazing. It was incredible. If you go on the website now, Union High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma, it looks like just a college campus. That's better than some of the colleges here, like Lehman and the Mercy colleges, even Mercy, where I graduated from. The college campus was not as beautiful as this high school. And they gave so much to the students. They had so many different programs and opportunities for the kids to just explore what they wanted to do. I mean, I was in a program where they would take us to the airport for those who were interested in becoming pilots. And I actually got to taxi a plane, take a plane off, and land a plane in high school. I mean, I would have never done that in Yonkers, and you know what I mean? And I just got exposed to so many different things that was the big factor there, the X factor, I guess, in my life that kind of just, got me into a different direction and where I'm at today. And I would just love to see that. And you say funding. How do we get this funding? I mean, you look at a school like the high school that I graduated, right? I mean, they're doing a $42 million renovation just on the football stadium alone, the football stadium, right? And here we are in Yonkers, and they don't even have a football team. Or do they? I think they have one football team where they combine the high school. Yeah. And sports gives so much to kids, to students in terms of scholarships and things of that nature, where they go to school for free. And I've seen it. So many kids I went to high school with, football, even gymnastics, hockey, golf. I mean, they had it all. So where's this money? What's the difference there? I mean,
we have to make a lot of noise. That's what it is. We have to all make a lot of noise. A couple of years ago, or maybe about 6 years ago now, it just started with the issue of funding, and a large group of people in the city of Yonkers rallied together. And I came on a little bit later, so I don't want to take credit for it, but we were able to get $10 million additional to the city's budget. So it's about organizing. We have to make a lot of noise. We have to have people that really have the time and energy to do that as well.
So you said you were able to, you guys were able to create noise, right? And I think people should listen to this part, especially when watching this. You created noise and you were able to get an additional $10 million added to the budget. Now, how'd you do that?
Well, like I said, I came on a little bit later on because I was still teaching, but basically write a lot of letters. You have to go. A lot of people went to Albany and sat in the main hall there,
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It happened year after year as well there's I forgot the name of it, but there's a rally in Albany that the city of Yonkers has done in the past and for the past 5 or 6 years, but literally took a busload of kids, parents, teachers, anybody that really wanted to get involved, drove up to Albany, and physically was there with signs, and it was amazing. It was such a beautiful event, and it's such a beautiful event year after year as well. But what we have to do is make noise, because that's the only way we would be able to get funding, and we have to be smart about it too. We have to be strategic. Again, just saying this is much easier than actually doing it. But like I said, Yonkers is the largest city in Westchester. It's important that we have the proper funding for our kids.
Absolutely, and I think that that is should be probably most of the budget, but I believe it's about half the budget, right? I believe the city of Yonkers receives about $1.4 billion, and I'm learning. I'm learning a lot of things, So I'm just trying to get a lot of information, and I believe about half of that goes to the school system, right? $700 million, I guess, or so, roughly. That's a lot of money.
Yes,
that's a lot of money, and I don't know. Is it being managed right? Is it being managed properly?
So there's always been mismanagement of funds in the city. We really have to look at what areas we don't need.
Right.
For example, I guess politicians. There's certain people in the city of Yonkers that, including politicians as well, that get free cars. So they have a car that is issued by the city that they can drive all the time. It's supposed to be, during work, but people do drive it on their own personal time. And that's nice and everything, but I would never accept a car, because if you think about it, how much money does a car cost, especially if you're leasing it?
Right.
How many people are actually getting the car in Yonkers? So if we're talking about, let's just say $100,000 in Yonkers issued cars.
Plus gas, right? Gas maintenance.
That's exactly right. That's $100,000 less than what we would get, for certain things that need to be taken care of in Yonkers.
And with that 100,000, and look, I agree with you, right? You have to trim the fat. You have to find everywhere. But with that $100,000, and I'm only saying that because it doesn't seem like $100,000 would be enough to make the impact of the change that's really needed. So that's one area I would say, and I agree. But if it's a perk, I don't know. I don't know. If I had a job, I would be definitely driving the company car at night. I just be, I'm never been the type to follow the rules, though. Don't go by what I do. But I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
And if we were, if money
if we had all the schools great and there were no issues, no needs, no budget shortfalls, I totally agree. And I think that's just one way we can cut, the budget. One of the things, and I talk to people a lot, and one of the things that I had someone mention also, someone had mentioned to me, was the teacher salaries. And not to knock teachers, I believe that's one of the most important jobs.
Absolutely.
But I think that, and just in my experience, I actually worked in the school system for 8 years, special needs students. And in my experience, not all of them were deserving of the salary that they were making, right? Some of them were making over six figures, $100-some thousand a year, and they weren't the best teachers. They just were collecting money, and you have tenure, right? That keeps people in positions even when they're not the best. You wouldn't see that in the corporate world. I'm in business, so no one, if you're not making us money, you're done. You know what I mean? So if you're not performing, basically, you're done. You're out of here. But you don't see that in the schools, right? You get a teacher that's making $130,000 a year, and she's sitting there looking at her students like they're, it's a waste of her time to teach, or his time. I don't want to single out, right?
Right.
I think going through that, possibly maybe staff, or are there staff or positions within the school department, the Board of Ed, that maybe can be cut, maybe that they don't need, that are just a waste, that are,
Right. That's exactly right. We have to take a look deeper into our money, what we're spending money on. And, we, again, like you said, we have to trim the fat.
Right. And you have to look at all these things. And I think that's something that, I think every candidate, or, anyone wanting to, get into politics here in the city of Yonkers. I think that's something that they need to really look into. I think it's time to get an audit going, right?
Right.
Time to audit the city of Yonkers. Who's with me? Raise your hand. Let's see. No, but on a lighter note, right? I don't want to. I want to talk about your logo, because I think that's something that means a lot to you, right? And you took your time with it, from what I understand, because you wanted to get it right. Now, let us know about the logo.
Yeah, so I actually I just released the official one maybe this past week, but it took me a while. I was playing with a bunch of different logos, and the logo I actually made myself. You know, I'm not a professional in graphic designing or anything, but I thought it was important that I made it myself. And also that it represented me, right? I don't, because it's important, it's my name, but, it's very traditional. It's, blue and red, right? My name Stella is kind of the main focus point. It's all in caps, only because my last name is very confusing. I don't think anybody knew how to pronounce it growing up, but that's another story for another time.
Yeah.
But Stella was also my grandmother's name. I never had the chance to meet her. She died about a year before I was born, but she came to Yonkers, and my dad is one of 10 children. So,
wow.
She, from what I heard, just stories and everything, everybody told me how amazing she was, and how strong she was, because she raised a lot of the kids by herself as well. So just highlighting that as well is important to me. And then, of course, the choice for better change is my slogan. I also have let's fix the six as well. But I think the choice for better change, again, we all have options. A lot of people will vote because they might know, somebody else, like my opponent. Everybody knows him because he's had a long history in the city of Yonkers. But, when it comes down to it's going to be the choice for better change. And the city council position is 4 years. It's not a year, it's not 2 years. So in 4 years, people have to really think about the decision that they're making, and where they want Yonkers to go in the next 4 years.
Absolutely.
And then I have an eagle that's in the last letter of my name, which is an A. And, that's my dad's favorite animal. He loves the eagles. He works for the Postal Service in Yonkers for over 20 years too. But he loves the eagles, or just the bird, the eagle, not the Eagles, the team.
Right. Not the Philadelphia Eagles.
Exactly.
American Eagle.
Exactly. So he loved the American Eagle. He's always talked about it when we were growing up. He was a baseball coach for the Bryn Mawr Boys and Girls Club over in my district here for many years. And he named his team the Yonkers Eagles. Oh, nice. And he still has the jerseys like hanging up in his room, because it was like one of the most proud moments of his life, just having that, the baseball team. But it means
I like to see the jerseys, actually.
Yeah, right. Cool. They're
I played for Luddale. I don't know if anyone remembers that.
Oh yeah.
Luddale over there, behind School 27, Montessori, Valentine Avenue, I think over there is a Fayfield, I believe it's called. I used to play there, Luddale, in the, I don't know, late 80s, long time ago. I was on the green team. We didn't really have a name. We were the green team. And that was a true story. We didn't have a name. We were the green team. And, it's sad because I actually recently went to go back there. I was having this whole thing, like, let me go through, be nostalgic and go through my own neighborhood and all that. And I went to the field, and it was a mess. It was a mess. I almost started to cry. Like I literally wanted, like I had to like kind of hold back tears. I did. And I know I tear up sometimes, and it was just very emotional for me. I mean, I literally could remember, standing in the field that's just a bunch of dirt now, and playing in my uniform and stuff. And I'm thinking about the kids now, right? The kids that are growing up in Yonkers, and they don't have that. They don't have that.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I don't really see it. I do see some the soccer teams and stuff, but I don't see the baseball. I don't see that anymore. And it was very sad. It's very sad for me. What are they doing there?
Right. Yeah. I mean, hey, like I was mentioning earlier, I was a tri-sport captain, by the way. I played basketball, softball, and I ran cross country.
Oh, nice.
In school, and I was also the tri-sport captain too. So sports are important to me, and
absolutely.
I was also in the music program too. I played the sax.
Oh, me too.
Oh, awesome!
I did. My wife did also.
Very nice.
She was no Lisa Simpson. That's a joke. I was there. No, she played the sax. She did longer than me. I was in the drums. So that's what I mean. Like in
so music and sports. Yeah, it's important, and it's very sad to see that these kids are not getting the same advantages and just in the programs like literally 10 years ago I was in.
Do they have the music programs? Are kids still playing an instrument in school, in elementary school?
To be completely honest, I'm not sure. I don't think so. I know a couple of music teachers that I speak to on the daily tell me how hard it is, for them to teach because students, in the past, of course, there was instruments. Now everybody can be 6 feet apart. For a long period of time, it was virtual. So, it's.
But even before that, I mean, did they have, the equipment to really facilitate a real music program in the schools?
I think we've reused a lot of instruments year after year. I remember I used to borrow one when I was in high school, but no.
I hope you changed out the reeds. You didn't borrow those, did you?
No. I definitely changed the reeds because they can get gross, let me tell you.
Yeah. I remember that. I mean, it was an exciting thing for me when I got to, be in the music, whatever, I don't know, band or whatever it was. And I went to go get my saxophone. I rented it from Sam Ash.
Oh, I always went to Sam Ash for my reads.
Yeah, my mom was like, she was barely like affording it, right? The rental, but she did it, for me because I wanted to play the saxophone that one year. And then I switched over to drums, which was a lot easier for her. She brought me some drumsticks. I had a little pad, cost a lot less. And I liked it a lot better. But I don't see kids. I mean, I used to walk around with this big, saxophone, the case, right? And I was a latchkey kid. So I walked home from school 16, I lived close. And I had this big thing. I don't see kids walking around with the big case of instrument.
That's exactly right. I was actually conned into playing the saxophone. So I went to Padea School 24 over in Collins Street, and I wanted to play an instrument, and I was in the second grade, and I was like, what can I play? What can I play? And one of my friends played the flute, and it was like small and cute. And I was like, okay, yeah, like let me play the flute. So I joined the band, and my band instructor, who was amazing, said, oh, I'm sorry, like there's just too many people playing the flute. You'll love the saxophone. I'll come back tomorrow and you can play the saxophone. I'll teach you everything. And I was like, oh, okay, great. Not knowing that the saxophone is huge.
Yeah.
And I would have back problems the rest of my life because of carrying it. I was really small, so I always lugged it around with me through, to different classes and such. But
I remember that. I was, like I said, I was a latchkey kid, and sometimes I would forget my key. So I'd come home from school and I'd sit in front of my building. I literally would stand in front of my building for hours until my mom came home with my saxophone. Was that child abuse? I think I could have got a CPS case. But I don't see that anymore. And I think I just have a fond memory of that. And I just think that, the schools are really lacking, a lot. And I want to see the politicians, whoever they are, right? Because I don't have a preference. I don't. I do. Actually, my preference is the people that are going to actually do something, right? That want to make the change, that are going to actually bring that change and work hard and fight hard and not be, persuaded by or influenced by, other things that are not, in the best interests of the people of Yonkers, right? And that's what I care about, and like I said, it's a three-way race, right? You're campaigning against not only the incumbent but also Tim Hodges. Right, he's also running for District 6. Tim Hodges was the former police chief. Is that correct?
Yeah, he was the former Yonkers chief of police.
So you're running up against two other people there for the city. So it's going to be a tough race, I would think. Right? Maybe, I don't know, because there's more people in it. But I see that you're genuine. I can sense that you really, really want to help the community, and you've already have been. Right? See, this is what I used to say to my wife. Where are the politicians? I want to see them in the community. What are you doing? If I was a politician, I don't know. Not that I want to be. I like to be as low as possible. If I was a politician, I would walk up and down the street. I would. I would just say, hey guys, how's it going? How's your day? What's going on over here? Anything you guys need?
That's
I mean, is
exactly
that
right.
crazy?
No,
Now,
it's not.
If you won, would you do that? Would I see you come in and knock, and ring our bell at in my business and you pay a visit to us? Would you?
Absolutely. I've
That's
already
awesome.
been doing it, but it's extremely important as well, that we have somebody in office that's visible. We have somebody that is not going to just show up at an event to take pictures to post on their social media. It's important that we're visible. People in leadership positions, not only politicians, just people in leadership positions, to make sure that we're as visible as possible.
Absolutely, and that's what I think is important. I definitely think important. And just one last question, I want to know. As you've been knocking on a lot of doors, I would imagine, right?
Yes.
What is, I guess, maybe if there is one common complaint? I know you've mentioned some of the complaints and some of the issues that the residents in your district that you're running for have had, but is there one main point that you would like to mention to the people, your potential constituents, the people of District 6? They're watching now. Let's say, what do you want to say to them?
Well, I want to say that I hope you guys vote for me, on June 22nd. As I've been knocking on door to door, a lot of people have been telling me a lot of different things. There's a lot of different areas that are not being met at the moment, and that's a problem. It's not like it's one person complaining about traffic, the other person complaining about, taxes. It's a little bit of everything, which is an issue in the first place. So I just want to let everybody know that, I'm here to stay. I'm 29 years old, born and raised here. Yonkers is, my home. I want to let everybody know that I'm going to be accountable, that I'm going to be a transparent person in office. And, I'm going to lead with conviction. I have the time, I have the energy to fight. So just let me fight for you is what I want to tell everyone. But as far as just like a couple other issues, definitely taxes is a huge issue. There's a lot of homeowners here, and there's a lot of again, I guess an issue like we were talking about earlier is development. There's affordable housing issue, or just housing issues in general, because as people are coming in here as developers, and wanting to buy out certain property, a lot of the times, at least lately, there's been huge tax breaks for these developers. So if there's these huge tax breaks for the development, the city isn't getting anything in return. And these developments or these developers use our city's resources. So it's sucking us dry, so to speak. So I just want to also let everybody know that, when I'm in office, I'm going to make sure that everybody pays their fair share. My goal and, my mission is for the betterment of the city, not just to put up a building, not just to have people want to come in and invest in Yonkers. We have to have these developers pay their fair share as well.
Absolutely. I agree. I definitely agree. And just one last thing I want to touch on, because I meant to ask you about it. The SOS and what you've done with the kids, because that's a big deal for us, children, the youth of Yonkers. That's all what I'm all about. Just tell us a little bit about what you've done. A little more detail to SOS and the AAA All-Stars, is it?
Yeah. So I was actually a part of a program in high school called the AAA All-Stars. And I joined when I was in the 9th grade. So I was maybe like 13 years old. And it was a program where it focused on athletics, academics, and the arts. So there was literally year after year, there was hundreds of kids that always wanted to join this program because it was fun. We all got to hang out. We did our homework together. We played basketball together. So it was really like a family bond that we were able to develop over the years. And, when I got older, of course I went into education because, I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to help influence students and kids the same way that I was influenced, in a positive light. And the AAA All-Stars, what it did was it took a lot of kids off the streets too. The gyms were always open late. They were always open till 8, 9 o'clock at night. So if, families were working or, parents were working, they could come by and pick up the kids after. It was a need that, we needed that for the community, and it was provided to us. So years later, I've always been involved. Of course, I turned 18 and I went to college and I graduated, from Manhattanville College, but I've always been involved because, my community means a lot to me. A lot of people that I grew up with in high school, they actually left. I remember everybody was saying, oh, I can't wait to graduate and just get out of here. I just want to leave Yonkers. But I was one of the only people that said, excuse me, like, I don't want to leave Yonkers. I want to come back and reinvest into my community because I had such a great experience growing up.
Right.
But I went into teaching. I got my master's degree in education. And year after year, I just helped the program. I'm a board of director for the AAA All-Stars.
Awesome.
It's been hard lately, of course, for the kids because of, COVID and the pandemic. But yeah, a lot of the kids are in different schools in Yonkers,
That's awesome.
It's just important.
I want to see more of that. I want to see more programs, more summer programs, basketball, baseball. Mm-hmm. And I'm for one personally, I'm going to be, fighting for that. Like I said, the youth here in Yonkers is my thing. I'm very, I'm passionate about that. And that's what I'm fighting for. And that's why I've kind of been getting involved in politics a little bit, just to kind of get to know what's going on, because I think it's important to understand if I want to play a more active role in the community, right? I should know what's going on. So that's really my thing. I just want to try and bring different programs. We're doing a lot of stuff out of our own pockets, our own funding. It'd be great to get help. It'd be great to have politicians, come by and really give us a push and give us support, because that's big. And I want to see more of that. And I will be doing that. And you will be seeing that from us anyway on our end. But I think that's great. I appreciate you coming on the show, Stella.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
So much. Thank you
absolutely.
So much. It's been awesome.
Absolutely. And I definitely want to do it again. I definitely maybe do it again as we get closer to the primaries. Maybe thinking maybe I don't know, maybe mid-June, possibly just before the primaries, if we have time. But I definitely appreciate you coming on. It's been a pleasure.
So this was amazing.
Thank you. I wish you the best of luck. I know it hasn't been easy for you, right? It's been a little tough. They're trying to make it tough for you. That's what I hear.
Yeah, I mean, change is not always looked upon in a positive light, so to speak, so it's an uphill battle. If you really want to fight for something, if you really want to make things happen, it's always going to be an uphill battle. But hey, like I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm enjoying the ride, and, let's do this.
That's it. Don't be scared, Don't be afraid. Don't let anyone intimidate you or anything intimidate you. You have to go and give it your all. Fight hard. I believe that if you are, you think it, you work at it, you will achieve it. That's definitely what I believe in life. So I wish you the best of luck. You're very passionate. You're committed. You're in the community. You have a proven track record, right? That's what I respect. She has a proven track record. You've done stuff with the kids in the community. You continue to do that, and you want to continue doing it just on a different level. And so, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you go out and vote. Just vote, whoever it is for it. Just vote. That's very important. But definitely go out and check out Stella. Visit Vote for Stella, your page on Facebook, and where else they can get information on you?
Oh yeah, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can also go on Yonkers Spotlight, and also our website is going to be Vote for Stella. It should be live in a couple days.
Well, definitely come back. Let us know when it's live. We definitely want to, let everyone know that it's live. And help you promote yourself. And as we're looking to help promote everyone, just to give a platform for them to speak. Again, my goal is simply to provide an opportunity for the residents of Yonkers to be informed, to get to know the candidates. I call it highlighting the candidates who will win. right?
Excellent.
So Stella, thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming on with me tonight. I know it's a Sunday night, it's Mother's Day, so I appreciate everything. You taking the invitation and coming on. So thanks again, ladies and gentlemen. Go check out Vote for Stella on Facebook and everywhere else, all social media platforms. Stella, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Freddie.
You're very welcome. Thank you. You too. I'm going to give you a round of applause.
Oh, excellent.
Stella Schwuchow. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you did.
Vote for Stella. District 6, Yonkers City Council. Primaries are the Democratic primaries are June 22nd. So make sure you go out and vote, all you Democrats and registered Democrats. Make sure you vote all those in District 6. Make sure you go out and vote. Get to know Stella more. Visit her pages. Stella will be out there knocking on your door. So make sure you open up, greet her with a warm welcome. Thank you so much. Have a good night, Stella.
Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Have a good night, folks.